All right, well, welcome everybody. This is a phenomenal day. We got two powerhouse agents who are in the house, and I get the unique ability to be able to ask them both questions. So, without further ado, I'm gonna let our guest of honors get started. So, let's start. Right hand man. Let's start with Josh right now. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been in real estate, and also tell us what you did prior to jumping into real estate as well.
Okay, so I'm Josh Savage. I've been in real estate since 2016. June of 2016 is when I got my license. Prior to that, I was a barber pretty much since I was about 17 years old. I had worked in a barber shop for years, and I kind of felt like I had hit a glass ceiling and just wanted to go a little higher with my personal life and business and take my family to higher places. So somebody reached out to me one day and asked if I wanted to take a real estate class, and I had jumped in. I was already trying to do things like on the off market when it came to like wholesale and real estate, but the thought of actually being an agent wasn't really there. But once I did take that step, man, I've been very thankful. It has forever changed my life, really.
Nice, nice. He dropped a nugget in there, hit a glass ceiling. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And to my left, this man almost needs no introduction, but Alan Upshur, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your past and how long you've been in real estate.
Yeah, so I've actually been in real estate a little bit before Josh, March 2016. And prior to being in real estate, I actually was in the car industry. I was a lot attended at Lexus and Towson with the thoughts of trying to sell cars because, I love sales. Previously than that, I actually just came home from incarceration and I just wanted to do things different. I didn't want to sell drugs anymore. I just needed a new start, and I felt like real estate was the way. I seen my dad do it. He was real successful in it, and I felt like this could be something that I could do to do something more positive and productive in my life. And again, I also, had hit a glass ceiling when I was working job to job. Me having a record, it was really hard for me to have opportunities that I felt could make the money that could suit my way of living. So getting into real estate, fighting through the battles of my background, I was blessed to get opportunity to get my real estate license. And from there, it's just been a blessing, and I've been doing it ever since.
All right. I mean, you both have phenomenal backgrounds and mentioned hitting that glass ceiling and looking at this as another opportunity to not just recreate yourself, but to push forward and go further. So real question right now, you reach your potential?
No, not at all.
I feel like I probably never will. I feel like there is no finish line, so it's always room for growth.
So we haven't reached it yet. What's the next level of success for you?
For me, the next level of success is to be honest, I don't really know what it looks like, because in my mind, when you feel as though you're successful, like you're gonna stop growing. So I don't want to feel as though I'm successful. Like I'm forever a student. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to reach new heights. So I can't say, what the next level of success is going to be, because if I hit it, I'm probably going to slow down, and I don't plan on slowing down ever.
Like that. I would say my next level is making a name for myself outside of the Baltimore area. Currently, I do live in Buckhead, Atlanta, and I've been getting my name out there in the Atlanta area. So I would say the next level for me is really making my name and what I do every day, more so at least starting off in the East Coast region. I do have plans on moving to Florida in the next couple of months. So to really just tackle first starting, having my name like really stamped in the East Coast area, and then taking it, pretty much make my name a nationwide name. So I feel as though that's the next goal for me, to make the name that I did in Baltimore and Atlanta and also the Florida East Coast region. So.
So what I love what I'm hearing right now is, even if you feel like you reached a level that we got an audience who wants to hear what we have to say, that ain't enough. We still got more to go through, and that drive is kicking into us. For people who are starting to make that transition in their life, whether they jumping into real estate, jumping into something that's outside of the norm for them, they're going to face challenges. They're going to face some significant challenges, and we all face it. Mm-hmm. So, Alan, I'll start this question with you. Being incarcerated, having to fight through to be recognized as somebody that people can trust and then go to. And now that you're there, you're becoming the lead point for everything. How did you get through those challenges, and talk about some of the challenges you faced along your journey?
Well, one of the big things that helped me get through my challenges that I recommend everybody that gets in, whether it's the real estate industry or any industry that you get in, is having a mentor. And not just have a mentor, but to have multiple mentors in a sense of different aspects of what your craft is. In this case, in the real estate industry, I knew that one of my mentors, rest in peace, Sean Wilson, always shout out his name, any chance I get. He actually was a mentor of mine that really helped me because we had similar stories, similar backgrounds. So I could relate to him on that level personally. And then I was fond of him being a buyer agent because I like to chase and go after business as opposed to being on the listing side where you sell and have it marketable coming to you. So I was able to find my niche because I would challenge him and ask questions in regards to what worked for him. And through trial and error, bumps and bruises along the way, I realized that, starting off being on the listing side, trying to call and cold call people to try to get listings, it really wasn't something that I really was fond of doing as opposed to really chasing down and hunting business. I didn't really care if I took 10 houses or 20 houses for me to get a deal. But as I perfected my craft, I got to the point where I could show a client no more than 3 houses, and they was making that decision. So to answer your question in regards to challenges, it was, being broke. I remember plenty of days, starting in a business and, Sean had sent me a list of 10 houses and, I had no money for gas, and I would literally at times show those houses and just make it home with no money and, just writing that offer and getting it accepted and just making it through and saving and budgeting my money and going full time in real estate. So those challenges, and then even the challenges of, I would still have thoughts of still wanting to go back to my past, going back to selling drugs, and just believing that, knowing that, hey, if I stick to this, I don't have to go back to the life that I had that could potentially send me back to jail. But just, staying focused and having multiple mentors who believed in me and encouraged my growth. So that's why I can answer that question.
That leads into a conversation that Josh, you and I kind of talked about a little bit. And Alan talking about some of the challenges that he went through just to persevere to get into the industry. We all go through these challenges, but we know how to fight and go through.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you handle mentally?
Mentally, you gotta surround yourself with the right people, like daily. Like you have to, constantly give yourself them daily affirmations. Like you gotta, like I try to tell myself, like I'm only working hard when I'm going past the physical. It's when my mind is fully locked in on real estate. So when I'm in the car, I'm constantly like, no, I ain't gonna put music on today. I'm gonna listen to something educational. Like we know how hard we really are going on the mental. And if you don't have it here, you ain't gonna really push past some hard times because it's more than just the physical. You gotta completely, like I say, like jump in the water. You gotta fully submerge yourself in the water and really go after this, because it's possible to hit new heights. Like I've had months where when I first started where I made $0. I've had months where I made over $100,000. That'll be a combination of me being an agent, working off market and wholesale, investing also. Like I took on real estate, not just being an agent, but being an agent is just a vehicle to get to invest in, and just being able to get to higher places. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And Alan, on your side, kind of talk about that same aspect too, where having your mental right. I know you both read, but what is it that keeps your mind sharp, focused, and on task of whatever goal that you're going after?
Well, one of the things I did was understanding other parts of real estate. To this day, currently, I have 3 active real estate licenses. So I'm a licensed real estate agent active in Maryland and in Georgia. So to answer that question, the continued education of always studying in different areas and different locations, me moving to Georgia, I took it upon myself to get that Georgia license too. So now I can sell houses in Georgia and I can sell houses actively in Maryland at Keller Williams. I'm also a licensed loan officer. I'm vice president of sales for Own Mortgage. So I took the time to understand FHA loans, VA loans, conventional loans, 203K loans. And you were actually one of the people that helped motivate me to get my mortgage license. So I can do mortgages in different states. So I understand the financial literacy piece of real estate as opposed to just the political side of going to a home inspection or just understanding that part of it. And then I took it a step further education wise by I'm a licensed title insurance producer. So I can actually do title in Maryland as well. So to really fully submerged, like Josh said, to really understand the craft all the way around the board. So when people ask me questions about real estate, there's no avenue that I can't talk about. I could talk about VA loans. I could talk about listing the property. I could talk about wholesaling. I could talk about title issues that happen. So I'm constantly educating myself and constantly being a student. And the way I did it was because since I love to read, why not take the time to understand the other parts of the industry by getting licensed in them? So that way I have those credentials behind me when I talk to people, I have that validity, so I can help service my clients in all aspects of the game.
Man, that's a lot. And I want to tie, you mentioned Sean Wilson, and Josh, you talked about the people you surround yourself makes a difference, right? Talk about the mentorship aspect. You know, you guys have both kind of been around. You started it at one brokerage, you moved to another, but you held true to some of the mentors that you have. I'm always a little bit skeptical of mentors because that mentorship aspect, if you don't have that conversation up front, you don't know what your mentor is guiding you to.
Right.
And then on the the mentor side, if I don't know what my mentee is looking after or going towards, then you may not be doing the things that I'm pushing you to go towards. So talk a little bit about one, looking up to other agents and looking for that mentorship to now the roles that you both play where you guys are the mentors and people are watching you and following your footsteps.
I would definitely say you have to be careful who you looking up to, but like with anything, like I look at, you know, each agent that has helped me, I try to pick things that I see special about them and bring those qualities about them and add it to my character so that I'm constantly building myself. I can't take every quality from every agent, but I can take bits and pieces from every person and help it move, you know, into myself.
Right, I agree. I know it also is about understanding what your weaknesses are. I know for me, one of my weaknesses is organization and admin work. Like I don't like to do it, but when I have mentors who are great at it, you know, like for example, when I was working with Nakia Evans, for example, she was showing me ways on how I could leverage myself through administrative work and the organization piece of my business, because I'm the type of guy I like to wake up in the morning, make calls and just go, as opposed to sitting in the back end of the office and try to organize things. So understanding that key component helped me in a sense of leveraging, finding somebody who can do the stuff that's my weaknesses. So I think that's very important when you're dealing with mentorship, is understanding what your strengths are and also understanding what your weaknesses are. And when you understand what your weaknesses are, you can find mentors who excel in that part of the industry so that you can take those nuggets, like Josh was saying, and put them into your craft and make yourself a better realtor.
Phenomenal. And it's funny you talk about the different mentors for different levels. You mentioned Sean's name, and there are times that I was the mediator between, you know, the mentor and mentee, and you guys going headbutting at each other, trying to figure out, you want this path, he sees this path. And that's where your mentor didn't have the same, you might have the same end goal, but how to get there was different.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go through this path, and Josh, you mentioned finding the right mentor is key. You're not always going to agree with that mentor as you go through. You know, your mentor should challenge you in ways that you didn't expect to. Talk about how they challenge you and how you persevere through it, but then also when it is something that you guys are butting heads, how do you use that to motivate you, but then also know that they want the best for you?
Well, I could start. One of the things for me was waking up earlier. You know, I remember times 7 a.m, and not even just Sean, but other mentors of mine, they'd be like, Adam, look, it's 9 o'clock. You're still in the bed, man. What you doing? You know, and a lot of times, you know, the world has changed. So you can work from home. You can make money from the bed now. At one time, you know, that wasn't the case, but our mentors are a little older than us and they looked at life a little different. But I would see, you know, at first I would bump heads. I'd be like, well, look, man, I'm in the bed, but I'm making calls, I'm texting, I'm emailing. But it wasn't so much of that aspect, but being older in the business, I understand the importance of waking up earlier because it's the energy of you. You know, when you're laying down and, you know, you're making calls, it's still a certain energy of you laying in the bed as opposed to you being up, being in the gym, being on your feet. Your mindset is sharper, it's clear, you eat breakfast, you're doing more. So that's one thing for me was not waking up as early. And I would realize that when I actually started taking their advice, they would put numbers in front of me. Alan, when you wake up earlier, you can get this amount of calls done and the numbers are the numbers, you know? So as opposed to waking up 9:30, you know, the great realtors, the billionaires, they're waking up 5 in the morning. I'm waking up at 9, and statistics show why they're making what they're making, and I'm making what I'm making. So that was a big thing for me, waking up earlier, which required me not to be up as late. So it was that discipline part. It was just me owning to myself, like, you know what, I do gotta wake up early, and my discipline isn't where it should be. So it was taking ownership, because if you don't take ownership, you can't do anything if you ain't taking ownership. So it was me taking that ownership and then seeing the results of me listening to them and being coachable enough to realize that, okay, I am waking up earlier. These 80 calls that I gotta make today, I got 25 on done because I woke up a little earlier than what I would have woke up with. And the results show in my pay, and the results show in my peace of mind. So
now, I'll say one thing, like what I got from my mentors, I'm gonna say both, like Sean Wilson and even William Savage. Like me and Sean always had real brief conversations, but he would get directly to the point. Sean didn't have a lot of time to waste. So when I talk to him, he gonna say what he's saying. He gonna just hang up. He gonna say, all right, out.
Not even by, just
He's not
straight
saying
up.
by nothing. He just gonna hang up the phone. I remember one time I put a house up on the market, and the photos were not professional. He leaned on me about that and said, man, you gotta do better with the photos. He was like, this is what you're putting out to the world. So I immediately, like, I just took action on it. Like, because the conversations were so brief, you had to take action immediately. When it came to William really went through the contracts with me. And I remember being a new agent, seeing like classes on contracts almost every day. I would see the same people in the same class, and it's like, man, you still ain't learned how to do these contracts yet. But William, he ain't have a lot of time neither. William would be real short. He'd give me a stack of different contracts, say, look, man, look through these and you figure it out. I got work to go do. So that caused me to really take action and really learn them contracts, because I know when you got a good mentor not going to really, they'll hold your hand, but they can only hold your hand to a certain extent. They know how to kick you out the nest and to see if you're going to fly. And
I mean, that's it. They can't give you the work ethic.
Right.
They can give you the work to do, but they can't give you the work ethic.
Exactly.
I got a great one to piggyback off of that. I remember when I got Rookie of the Year and me feeling myself. I'm in the office, I'm ringing the bell. Brandon actually was one of my lenders at the time, and I felt like this was my office. And then I would hear the whispers from William Savage and Sean Wilson, like, it's this young guy. He just came in the office, man. He doing what you doing. I'm like, man, ain't nobody in the office doing what I'm doing. Come to find out, it was Josh. So it was like when I got to the point where I felt like, I'm closing ratified contracts. It is what it is. I just seen Josh hungry, and it reminded me of myself months before when I was trying to make a name for myself. I would see Josh in the office, and it made me be motivated all over again to be like, this ain't the end goal. Just because you got Rookie of the Year, just because you had a good first year, you got to keep this thing going. And Sean will always tell me that, like, just because you got this one good year, this is a marathon, man. You're gonna be doing this for a long time. There's plenty of people that come in strong and they fizzle out, So me and Josh, and saying when he came in the business, it just kind of like humbled me to be like, you know what? At any given time, it's somebody that could come right in and you could be yesterday's news, So
I see it happening now. Like you did the interview with Montez McCray.
Yeah,
I look at him.
I got to meet him.
He's doing well.
Yeah,
he's doing very well.
Yeah.
I got to meet him.
And it gives us that energy and that fuel all over again.
That's that competitive fuel. I mean, it ties into a couple things: the location you at and people who in your circle. But we set this up as being the truth about real estate. I want to go back to something, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about the mentors, and you basically said they can't give you the work ethic. They can give you the work, but you gotta have the work ethic. Man, I see y'all on Instagram. I see you out in the sand, toes all out, walking in, enjoying, right? What are they, infinity pools he's at? I see you with stars. I see you in Atlanta doing everything. Matter of fact, Atlanta, Florida, every time I look up, you in a different city. We want to live that life, right? We want to run around and do everything. Right. We see the glitz and the glamour, but we don't see the work. Man, tell me what y'all do on a day-to-day basis. How you gotta get to live that life? What do you do? Let's talk about what does it take to be a good real estate agent?
I'll tell you this. I love real estate. I'm at the point now where I'm working out of DC, 4 times a week, just because I like the growth that I see in DC. I travel a lot. It takes this. It don't matter if I'm in a plane, I'm in a pool, I'm on a cruise ship, I'm gonna have my laptop with me. I done deals flying across the country. I done worked on deals flying to other continents. I done worked on deals in the middle of the ocean on a cruise ship. Like, I'm always working. I never clock out. When you're an entrepreneur, you never clock out. Once I clocked into real estate, I've never clocked out, not one time. I ain't took a break ever. That's how hard I'm going. That's what it really takes.
So I'm a big fan of 48 laws of power, and one of the laws is move at a godlike speed. And the best way to be able to do that is leverage. You know, one of the best investments I've made as I grew in this business was having an assistant. Actually, one of my best friends. Shout out to Trinidad. So it's like the times where if you may not see me working, she would be my administrative person. She would be the person that would handle all my paperwork. So it's like, even though it's like you always seeing me, you're always seeing an email come through, you're always seeing a pre-approval come through, and then having advocates, right? So it's people that's out here every single day. For example, I'm a second generation realtor like my father. My father's always out in the field. He's always talking to people, meeting people, and anybody that wants to do anything real estate wise, he sends it to me. So I have advocates in different places in different cities that are loyal to giving me business. So it makes it appear that I'm always working 24/7. And again, like Josh said, I guarantee you, if you look at me and Josh's phone right now, we probably got about 10 messages, about 6 missed calls right now. I'm to the point where I can't even keep my phone ringer on anymore because I've heard it so much. So I don't even have my ringer on. I just keep it on vibrate. I probably make on average 120 calls a day. I got to the point where I got it so down to a metrics where I can't be on the phone with somebody more than 5.2 minutes a day, or I won't be in a place to get through all my calls. You know, I know that it's 1,440 minutes in a day, you know, so every minute of that matters from the time I get in the shower to the time I eat breakfast to the time I'm here right now. It all has to be measured. So I've got my life almost down to a T. And it's the irony of it because I spent a lot of time incarcerated. Now that I'm free, I'm still playing on that time, but I'm using it to my advantage now. So I had those measurements down on how much time I could be here or do this or talk to this person, so I could live the life that I have and leverage it accordingly. So it looks as though I can be anywhere any given time and I'm always working. So.
Okay. So to the agent new agent, we know what they need to go through, right? And if you're new, you got to put in the work. You can't cheat this game. You can't cheat it whatsoever. But to the agent who's been in for a minute, who hasn't experienced that level of success, who wants to work, they just don't know what they're working towards. What are you telling them? How are you telling them to really get motivated and go to that next level? And let me get a little bit of context behind this. Okay. So we're all at Keller Williams Legacy right now. And Keller Williams has systems and tools to get us there. But this conversation goes a little bit beyond just Keller Williams because they both have viewpoints for different brokerages, different mentalities, different trainings, different systems. So to that agent who is really at that, let's say they producing $2 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. Enough that they live in, but not enough that they traveling across the country and going everywhere they want to go. What is your advice to them, or what are you telling them? This is your next step. This is what you need to be working towards.
My very first point of advice is to make a GPS. You know, if I was to say, Adam, man, I need you. You can right now drive across the nation, pull up at this random address in California. It's $1 million waiting for you. When you get in your car, the first thing you're going to pull up is a GPS. Like if you're an agent and you're just working and you don't have a goal in mind, you really just running circles around yourself. Like you need to have a goal and start to work towards that goal. You need to have certain things that you must do each day, you know, goals that you must hit each week, goals that you must hit each month, so that you're making sure you're on track to hitting that goal. And if that's not what you're doing, you're probably just going to be stuck at the 2 million mark.
Yeah, I love that answer. Having that direction, and then to add to what Josh is saying about direction is education. You gotta always be studying your craft, because if you're at the $2 million mark and you want to get to the $4 million mark, it's really two things on why that person that has a $4 million mark and you're at the $2 million mark. One of it is that direction to get to that $4 million mark, but it's also the people that you're around that's giving you that education to get there, because it's going to require also a certain discipline. People that's making that 2 million compared to that 4 million, they have disciplined themselves to put their money and put their time here, in regards to the ones that's at that $2 million mark. So direction, and to add what Josh is saying, and I would say add education, because you have to study different things to get different results.
Study different things to get different results. I love that. And you also mentioned that you can't continue to do the same things. You need to have that GPS and the roadmap. But that education and discipline, please. If I'm at 2 million and I know how to do a contract, right? I know how to represent that client. What education should I be going to next? What should be my next drive? Like, what should I be going after? What education piece should I go after? I can go on YouTube and I get anything, but I just don't know what's my next focal point to go after. So what should I do with that?
Well, one thing I would say is understanding your niche, because we all are in real estate, but we all have different things. Like Josh, has his niche, I have my niche, and it's first understanding that, because you can do 2 million and not really have a niche.
I say, if you do 2 million, you got a niche.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
You could. I would say if you have that niche, it's if you understand what your niche is, find that person that's in that lane that's doing better than you, that's higher than you, and find out what they're doing. What meetups are they going to? What books are they reading? What resources do they have? And where do they hang out at? Because that location is number one in real estate. Location, location, location. So where are they hanging out at? Where are they going? What are they doing? Because that clientele and that sphere of influence that they're around gives them that type of resource, and it can give them that type of client, as opposed to you might hang out somewhere around here in Towson compared to hanging out, and like Josh said, he's in DC a lot. So if Josh is hanging out more in DC, then he's hanging out more in Baltimore City, he's going to be around people that's in that DC realm, and he has a better chance of coming across clients that's in DC who have higher price points, who also have different insight and different friends and different leverage. So that location part plays a big part in you having that different price point too. And I see that all the time. Then I live in Buckhead, Atlanta. My price points is $800,000 and up. And it's not to say that their skill set is better than mine, but it's the location where they are. You got realtors that's only doing 4 or 5 deals a year in Atlanta, but their price points is 700,000. Compared to you got realtors here in Baltimore, their average price point is 200,000, and they closing 40 deals a year. Share hustle way stronger. It's just that they're not in that right location. So that location does play a part in this, so I feel like that's an important thing to be mindful of if you're trying to get to the next level. Associate yourself with people in different locations, because there's a different culture, and there's a different education, and different insight that comes with that.
So this is one thing I'll say too, because I come from a sports background. I played sports all my life. And when I was done playing college sports, I was lost for a second, right? But real estate gave me back that competitive edge. And business is the ultimate sport. You got to have endurance in this. And one thing you got to learn how to do is to become a coach. You got to be able to teach other people how to go out and get money. And as a result of you teaching, money going to come back to you. Like, you're going to make money in this industry. It's going to be how you contribute to other people's lives is going to show in your pocket. So one thing I say you need to do, you need to learn how to teach other people, and you need to learn how to fire yourself. And you need to learn how to teach other people to teach others, so that y'all can all grow collectively together. If you get good at that, you can go far in real estate.
Man, it's a humbling thing, firing yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Talk a bit about that, right? We talk about that growth pattern. At the end of the day, you talked about having the right people and the leverage that's there. You just mentioned firing yourself. You're going to fire yourself because somebody can do it better than you can. But what is your mentality to get to that point that you recognize that you are holding yourself back by not reaching out for that help or reaching out to that mentor? Like,
you gotta get comfortable being able to fail. There's been a lot of times I hired people and it may not have worked out, but I took that step that I know maybe some of my competitors may not have took. So while they still on this level here, you are learning. You're failing, but at the same time you're failing, you're learning, because every time you fail, like, don't just fail and take a step back. No, fail and go right back at it again. Like, I done failed in real estate 1,000,000 times, but throughout all the failures, it's gonna help me grow at a faster speed. I mean, look at Elon Musk, what he doing with the space program, with Tesla. Like, they are every day they are computing information. Like, they might try something new, they're gonna fail, they're gonna go right back at it. They learn from their failures. Like, you just gotta keep failing. Like, get comfortable being uncomfortable, get comfortable failing. Like, you gotta embrace the fail.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk can fail because he got $1 billion.
Right.
I'm going check to check. You seen gas prices? I'm trying to figure that out. So how can I fail if this failure might be the end of it? You know, how do you
I mean,
push forward through that? How you take that
got-
risk if you know this might be your last?
You gotta get creative. It's plenty of people here that help you. It's plenty of sources out here for you to get business loans to help you on your journey. Like, you gotta get creative and you gotta think outside the box.
Well, one thing I'm gonna say to add to Josh about being creative, I 100% agree with Josh on that. I haven't actually physically went to show a client a house and get it under contract, go to a home inspection in years. I've got to the point where I've mastered the art of my last 25 closings. I've never seen the buyer, I haven't seen the seller, I don't even see anybody, and I close them because I mastered the art of having a showing agent, having somebody to show my properties for me. So it appears to the public that, wow, he's closing a deal a week. I've been closing a deal a week for a long time, but I haven't been at the settlements. I haven't been, sometimes my name not even on the house, so it's just finding creative ways in this industry to be able to close deals. And sometimes, that could be something that for some people who reached a certain level in their career, don't want to show houses anymore, and you still can get credit for that and still make an income off of it, especially in the market where inventory is tight, as opposed to me having 2 clients and I'm showing them 20 houses. I could have 20 referrals out here, and then I sit back and I make money off the referral. And I've got to the point where I've made 6 figures just off of just referrals and not even showing properties.
Exactly. So to answer the question, like, if you don't have the money, you don't have to use leverage. There's plenty of people out here who cannot find a client to save their life. You could be the agent that's putting the client in their hands.
Yeah. I mean, so, and I was about to call, file a BS on what y'all was saying with be creative, but I know both of y'all, and I know that y'all put creativity after y'all follow a model. You have a model in place, and then off of that model, that's when you build the creativity. So to that, you guys are representing that model now. So for you to go through and break through, what was the biggest piece of education or information that helped cement your model that then you could apply your creativity on top, or apply your creativity on top of?
Going through the trial and error myself. You got to do it yourself before you take that chance. Before I had that showing agent go show those properties, I've done it a million times. Before I started having my secretary write offers for me, I was the guy many late nights, in not this office, but our old office, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, write my offers on paper before everybody was using DocuSign. I would actually literally was taking them to my clients. I probably did that 500-600 times with paper, thousands of pages I went through before I got to the point where I would then leverage my body and my physical self and give that to somebody. So I would say, to answer your question, you got to go through it yourself. You got to go through the mud yourself before you start trying to use showing agents, before you start trying to have people write offers, because it's still your name attached to it. So if it doesn't go right, they coming for you. So it's just going through that trial and error and that mud yourself and realizing, like, okay, I've been going through this trial and error so many times myself. I got this. I know it now. And like Josh was saying, training somebody the way how you want it to be, because your clients love you. So now you can duplicate what people already love for you to do. And the hard part is finding the right people that can duplicate that model. That's probably always one of the hardest, finding the right people. But that is the way to master that system, is doing it through yourself first, so you can oversee your work. I just heard Josh talking earlier, giving some advice. But I remember years ago when Josh was that person getting advice from William Savage. He's already mastered himself. So now he can give advice to his team, so he can mimic that system. But you can't do it if you don't go through it yourself.
And what's interesting, what you say, you got to go through that struggle yourself. And Josh, you just said, look, if you don't have it right now, find a way to leverage out. There's a word that's in the middle of that, and that's opportunity. And you guys have both found ways to see opportunity faster than others, or see opportunities when other people can't, right? So talk a bit about how you see that opportunity, or what looks like an opportunity for you, because it's not just in the house, you see it in people, you see it in different businesses, but what does an opportunity look like, and what makes you strike when you see the right one?
See, for me, I'm just not afraid to take a risk. Anything that comes across my mind that I think is an opportunity, I'm willing to try it. Even if it's not an opportunity, I'm gonna try to make it an opportunity. So like, I can't really say like what have prompted me to say this is an opportunity. My mind is just always involved and wrapped around real estate so much. Like I'm just always trying new things. I'm just constantly trying to be creative, but at the same time, I'm trying to be creative. I'm also using mentors. One thing I will say, I'm not afraid to pay to cut the line. So if I know it's somebody that's here, I'm cool with paying that person that's here to get 10, 15, 20 minutes of knowledge from them so that, okay, now, you know, I'm getting information from your mind and I'm gonna apply that to my life. And now if something do come up and somebody come across a deal and I say, okay, maybe we could do X, Y, Z with the deal so they could turn around and be a win for me, I'm all cool with trying it. I'm completely fine with taking a loss. Because in my losses, I'm gonna win at the end of the day, yeah.
It goes back to those scriptures you were saying that me and Josh take. Sometimes I just get on the plane and that's when that aha moment comes. On a plane. Or I might just be in where I was just in Nashville the other day and I was just talking to a random guy and he was telling me about leverage, aha moments. You know, sometimes you got to get away from your environment that you're in every single day and just hop on a plane and go somewhere that you've never been and talk to somebody that you never would think you'd be in contact with. And that environment or being somewhere or saying something new sparks a certain type of impulse in your brain where an aha moment comes. You know, I've learned to be more spiritual over the years, where I can pick up certain vibes. We all get them, but when you pick up certain vibes, to not ignore coincidences. So when they come, you got to catch it and be like, that's the moment. Even if it doesn't work, like Josh says, you get that aha, you get that feeling inside. And because we've been doing it so long in this craft, when we get that aha moment, a lot of times it's even, you know, I may not talk to Josh for 2 weeks, but we might have a random 11 o'clock at night conversation like, Josh, what you think about this? Bop, 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 bop. And I'll run it through with him and like 3 other people just to see if that aha moment still feels great. And if it still feels great, then I go with it. Boom. One of the reasons why I'm back at Keller Williams.
I say this too. I pulled off a lot of deals that the average person probably wouldn't have been able to pull off because I was talking so fast and made a promise, and I would put myself up against a wall, like my back against the wall, like now I gotta pull this off now. So it caused me to say, like, I don't want to fail myself. Like I'm okay with failing and trying something, but deep down inside, I don't want to fail myself. So when it put my back against the wall, I was like, nah, you got to figure out how to make this deal work now. So now I got to go reach some people that I ain't ever talked to. Like, who does these type of deals? Like, I got to go find them. I got to talk to them. Like, man, what would you do? Like, if give me 5-10 minutes of your time. Like, if I got to go knock on your office door, like, that's what I'm going to go do just to make sure I get this information so I can make this deal happen. So a lot of deals I've done, it came because my back was against the wall. And you know me, like most of my deals are off market deals, and I kind of got creative with finding out how to profit and still get paid as an agent on some of these off market deals too, so that the brokerage is still saying that I'm able to be productive. But it just opened up a whole nother world for me when I do that. So like take the risk.
I mean, that risk that you've taken has gotten you both to this position, right? It has the audience looking at you. It has people wanting to aspire to get to where you at and go through that same path. As far as, and I want to go back to education, because I want to give somebody something that they can walk away, they can grab and say, all right, this is what I'm starting with. What was the biggest book or video or something that you watched that said, you know what, this triggered something in you to get to that next level?
For me, the biggest book was actually like 48 Laws of Power. For me, that was the biggest book. Like it just was, you know, just how to move in certain social settings to get to the top. Like, you know, at first glance, reading a book, it kind of came off as negative to me, but when I really looked at it, now it's not negative. Like it's just, it's like, and this is how you're supposed to move.
Mine was it's one of my favorite books. It's called The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire. And it's by Deepak Chopra, and it talks about there are no coincidences. When things happen in your life, it could be a paper that falls down. That could be for you to apply for your real estate license. It could be something as simple as, you know, just walking in the office and not seeing a realtor in a while. And the next thing you know, y'all doing the deal together because he has an off market. You just happen to have a buyer. And it really just hones in on when something happens, don't look at it as a coincidence, but understand why that happened and seizing that opportunity. So when things now happen in my life, I don't overlook them. I don't think nothing of them. I take them and really embrace why they happen. For example, like, when we was, the dates had got mixed up on this interview that we had, but, I was just like, let me come in early. Let me just fly in town early, as opposed to waiting till the day and flying in. And coming to find out, talking to you, it was like, oh, this is the day, not tomorrow, because, I wasn't going to be here. But so it was not no coincidence that she called me at that time, and we took that extra second to see what the differences was. And I'm like, you know what, the flyer and the Zoom time is 2 different times. I'm gonna come in today. So that book was a life-changing book for me to not overlook things that we call coincidences.
Yep. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit because there's a couple things that you guys do that matters to us as agents.
Okay.
Right? It matters to anybody who has a business, and it's how they market themselves and how they put themselves in the world. Right. So start by asking this question: what is marketing to you?
To me, marketing is taking your skill set, your God's gift, and pushing it out to the world in different avenues to not only help yourself, but also help the community.
Man, marketing to me is being omnipresent. You got to be everywhere at the same time. That's marketing. Like, you got to be in everybody's emails. You got to be on everybody's phone. You got to be on everybody's social media. You got to be in everybody's barbershop, everybody's salon, every mom and pop's restaurant. You got to be everywhere. People got to constantly see your face. Everybody got to know who you are. You got to be known for getting stuff done. You got to be known for educating. Like, that's marketing. You got to be known for providing value.
Being omnipresent. I like that. In the words of Miss Albert at Southern University, shameless plug, marketing is everything, right? So a lot of agents believe that if they got the right marketing, if they put out the right flyer, they got the perfect post on Facebook, it's going to set up their business. They don't have to do anything else. Tell me how you guys use marketing in your business. And one, is that all you have to do? But then two, now that you have the marketing and it's set up for you, what do you do after that?
Well, I feel like it's always an ongoing thing. There's no perfect post. There's no perfect flyer. It could be a perfect flyer for that hour. The world moves too fast. What's great today, may not be as great. MySpace was great at one time. We're not on MySpace no more. We're now on the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok era, Snapchat era. So things always are going to change. You got to know mentally in your head that things are always going to change. It's a conversation that me and my dad, he's better at it now, but how his marketing, face to face, word of mouth is one thing, but now we're in the age of the Facebook and the TikTok era. So it's being able to adapt. Being able to adapt is really, really important. And then understanding, having advocates, because if you're going to be everywhere, omnipresent, like Josh was saying, you got to have advocates in different places, which is one of the reasons why I'm in a position that I can be in Atlanta one day and be in Baltimore the next. So I can still be in everybody's heads in Baltimore, and I can go back to Buckhead and be in everybody's head at Buckhead. So it's being everywhere and building that and knowing that there's no limit to that. You got to continually, every day, every hour, be in people's faces. You just have to be a walking billboard, basically.
Well, let me pause that. I know I had a follow-up question for it, but I love that answer. And using your omnipresence, what are you marketing? So what are you putting out there?
Nowadays, I'm marketing myself. And I mean, when you're marketing, what you're really doing is through your omnipresence, you are creating a funnel, an avenue for people to be able to reach out to you, or for you to be able to abstract people's information. And at the end of the funnel, you just need to attach a phone. So when that information comes in, you need to get on the phone, because this is sales, and sales requires you to make personal relationships. You got to reach out to people. You got to call them. You got to let them know who you are, what you're about, what you're doing, in order to get some of these deals done.
Okay, so now you saying the marketing ain't there to get you the business, but the marketing is there to get you in contact with the people that now you can go after the business because you're in contact with them.
Exactly.
So you're using your marketing to basically give you different exposure versus and this is the fallacy, and this is kind of where I'm going with it. We have agents who'll say all the time, well, all right, all I need to do is have this great post. I'll put this great post out there. I'm going to sit back. My phone's going to ring. I ain't got to do nothing else.
No. You gotta have a way to abstract that information. Like, where's that post taking them? Are they just looking at the post, or are they looking at the post, or are they clicking on something that's going to cause them to to enter that information so that now you can get that one-on-one, you know, phone call with.
Right. Bringing value. What value is that marketing bringing? You know, I'm at a
Mhm.
position now in my career where, to answer your question in one word, what am I offering the audience? What am I offering people? I can get you more business. You want more business in your real estate career? Call my phone. I can help you get more business. And what that looks like now is, okay, Alan, how do you get us more business? Okay, let's break down what are you doing and what are you not doing? So that's what I'm doing now in my career. I'm pretty much a real estate coach at this point, and I'm putting and connecting the dots with people on where they need to be. You know, a lot of times I live in Atlanta, but I'm closing deals in Baltimore all the time. How am I doing that? Because I'm leveraging people. If you need more business, what is your skill set? What are you great at doing? Are you a gym junkie? Okay, in a gym. What are you doing at that gym? Do you have flyers in the gym? Are you cool with the manager? Is he advocating for you? Who in the gym is advocating that you're a real estate agent? So it's really breaking down the person and giving them advice on how to get more business, because we all want more business. So it's really, what value are you bringing? If you're a realtor, you're a first-time home buyer specialist, give people value on being first-time home buyers. The more value that you're giving them, you know, karma is energy. You know, so the more that you're giving out, the more it will come back spiritually, you know. So I think that answers your questions in a sense of like, what value are you bringing to your market? You have to know that to be able to get what you're wanting back in return.
Here's, you guys mentioned this, and it's underlying, and I'm hearing it's people that you connect with, finding leverage, finding the right people, and getting the information that they have, having a mentor that's here. All right, so there's an agent in an office that I want to be connected with, or I want to be connected with y'all. I don't know what to say when I reach out. I know I want help. What does that conversation look like when you're going after somebody that you want to get information from, or you want to be your mentor? How are you engaging with them? What conversation are you having? Because a lot of people want to do the same thing. I just don't want to waste your time if I'm coming to you like, I don't know what to say. I want to do something, but if I got you for 5 minutes, what am I saying in that 5 minutes that hits home?
I mean, for me, when I first talked with Sean, you know, I would reach out to him and say, look, man, I see you, I hear about you. I'm driving around the city. I see Wilson Homes group signs up everywhere. Like, obviously, you've been in the game for a while. Like, man, how are you doing? I would walk up to anybody. If I see somebody doing well, I would compliment the person, just ask them, like, how are you doing? Like, what kind of advice can you give me? And or like, I'm willing to work for free. Like, whatever you need done on your team, like if you need somebody to go out and do X, Y, Z, like I'm willing to do it, but you know, early on, because I wanted to be around that person. I wanted to get abstract some kind of knowledge from that person so I could apply it to myself.
The apprenticeship approach.
Mhm.
You know,
That's
you're
always the
offering
approach I
time. At the
took.
end of the day, if they got something that, you know, that is a more value, it's the reciprocal aspect of it. You know, I can offer you my time to what you're doing in exchange for information that I need from you. You know, it's the apprenticeship approach.
Has anybody that you guys reached out to ever just shot y'all down and been like, nah, man, I ain't got time for you. I can't do that.
No, never, never. It's never been a person. I've had people I've reached out to that never replied, that may have seen the message and didn't reply.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I
but
got that.
I understand it now that maybe they so busy. Like for some people, you like you know, the average person can't just walk up on Jay-Z and get some advice. Like you got to be doing something. You got to know who you are. So what I take it as, well, my name just ain't big enough yet. And when it's big enough, you gonna know who I am, and then you'll have the time to talk to me because I got some information that maybe I could offer you. So don't take it personal when people don't get back to you. Maybe you just ain't grow your name enough yet.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've had cases like Josh was saying where I've reached out to people and they've saying they haven't got back, and then now years later in the business, they reaching out to me.
Yeah, that
So,
happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta keep growing. You gotta get your name bigger.
And then because you sometimes you realize that person that you're reaching out to, the stuff that you're asking for, you really can get it on your own. You just ain't take the time to really dig in enough. So it's like by the time now y'all come full circle with each other, it's like you already know what they was going to teach you in the first place because you just took that extra bit of time to study, research it yourself, and dig in and do it yourself. You know, so.
Man, that's huge. Just talking about your own growth and how you get there. Now people coming back to look at you.
Mhm.
So think about the nuggets that you drop with the people today, right? From your connections, your mentorships, reaching out to people, your education, knowing what to learn, knowing what you want to go after next. sometimes find a niche, but just finding something that you're passionate at to move forward with. So you guys have transitioned and done those things. Using this as marketing, how do people get in contact with you? You know, and not just get in contact with you, but what do they do if they're reaching out to you, and what value should they be coming at you with?
So I actually teach like off market real estate. Somebody want to reach out to me, the best way is to just go through Instagram. It's Josh Savage Real Estate. Send me a DM. Like I try to get back to everybody. It's been times where I've got so many emails or I've got so many DMs where I couldn't really get back to everybody, but that's a part of my growth. Also learning how to be able to get back to everybody, because sometimes when certain things hit, it can hit big and you might not be prepared for it, but you just gotta, get through it. So if it is anybody there that reach out to me, like I will be getting back to you as fast as I can.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I take pride in checking on my Facebook, my Instagram, even my phone daily. So I try to get back to everybody in 24 hours best I can. Same like Josh is saying, sometimes it can get hard, but I am on all those platforms and I do check my stuff daily. So I would say that would be one of the best ways to get back to me as well. Facebook, Instagram, and my phone number.
So now the agents who's watching this, whether I'm new or whether I'm that $2 million producer and I'm looking to take that next level, what's the first thing they need to do after watching this?
Take action, do some marketing, find a way to abstract people's information, get on the phone.
I would say just goal setting, have it written down. It has to be written down so that you can see it. If you can't see it, you can't obtain it. So have that goal setting. That would be first, I would say. And then, the thing about mentors is they change through time as well. So as you make those new goals, seek out those who've already accomplished those goals and, take them on with the apprenticeship approach that Josh is saying. We both were saying that we do daily ourselves. So goal setting and then surrounding yourself with those goals that you want to accomplish.
See, I would challenge that. I would tell them their first action, reach out to one of y'all. Reach out to one of y'all to figure out what that next step is to know how to go forward. Get the outline, get the blueprint, get the game plan, reach out to one of them.
Right.
Now, where you guys are in your real estate career right now. So Alan, you came back to KW not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, you left, you came back to KW, and now you kind of have built a foundation, a force in businesses that, and I use plural, businesses that your real estate has helped cultivate, but you've grown from there. So tell me why KW? Why did you make this choice to be the part of your business?
KW is like a family. Like the KW is one of the only real estate brokerages that I know that you'll find people from all walks of life. You'll find just straight up real estate agents. You'll find investors. You'll find wholesalers. You'll find is title companies here all the time. You got everything you need is here. KW is it's like a melting pot. Like when I did leave and I went to Coldwell for about a month, at Coldwell, I want to say that month I was there, I probably had outsold everybody in that small brokerage and Fells Point. I had outsold everybody, but at the same time, the conversations were different. Like I ain't hear people talking about which investment properties they were flipping. I ain't hear people talking about how they buying 15-unit properties and putting them back on the market. I didn't hear people talking about how they was getting multiple checks on one deal, but I heard all those types of conversations at Keller Williams. Like I heard people talking about how they were, buying properties with nonprofits and still making money from them. Like people were connected in different ways at Keller Williams that other brokerages didn't have. And at the other brokerages, it was only real estate agents. Like they were just agents. At Keller Williams, it was real estate professionals. And when I say that, I mean all walks of life in real estate is in Keller Williams. You got people making books in Keller Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at Keller Williams. I made a course that I'm selling. Alan made a book. People doing a lot of big things here. It's more than just being an agent.
Man, the first word that come to mind for me is home. This is where I started my career. This is where I got Rookie of the Year. This was the brokerage when I came home from incarceration after spending 5.5 years in a cell and wanting to change my life from selling drugs. Was the first brokerage that accepted me and took me in. I've been to other places and I have nothing bad to say about those other places. But when I went to other places, I went for money. I went for, things that were outside of the home. You know, I've made like lifetime friends with Josh and so many other people. And whenever it came back to, you know, being accepted or coming in, I could always come in the office, whether I was there or not, you know, with welcome arms, you know, and it's like they've seen me grow despite me leaving and coming back. So it's always been home for me. And the culture of Keller Williams is like no other, you know, from so many aspects, from recruiting. I could make one phone call Brandon, make one phone call, boom, and something get done. And so many different aspects of the business. Like I said, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, it's been multiple times I did call Brandon, like, look, somebody needs something. He'd be like, look, I got you. Boom, 10 minutes later, it's getting done. You know, I couldn't do that like I could do at other brokerages. So the leverage is just crazy. I got so many people at Keller Williams that I know that at any given time, I could just make one phone call and get it done. You know, it's the culture of it. You know, every time you walk in, there's so many people I can have a conversation with, even on a personal level, just to see how they doing or what's going on in their lives or their kids or their families, you know, so it's home for me. Is why I came back.
One thing I say that I really like about here, you know, most brokerages are gonna preach listings. Keller Williams is the only brokerage that I've seen people making their own listings. Like you got people like Chase Freeman, like Chase building his houses and then he listing them. He building a house for other people and then he listing them. If you want to learn from him, you got people you got women who building houses from the ground up, like India Whitlock. You got like Sean was one of the first people I seen who had like 30 homes coming soon, and it was all properties that he was renovating. Like that's the power that I seen here that I didn't see at other brokerages. You got people that was doing big things like forget going out. I was meeting people who were like, man, forget going out and finding a listing. I'm just going to buy the house, and make the listing.
Don't worry about the shortage. If I create my own, I ain't gotta worry about the
Well, look,
shortage.
you just go in the office and be like, I got a listing. You said it enough in the office. Somebody got somebody.
And when you're around that, it just opens your mind up to so much more. Like that's why I say it's bigger than just being an agent chasing a commission.
Man, real story of an agent who came in, got her license, first day walking through the building. Now, she followed that path a lot of people go through. She got her license because somebody said, like, I got these houses, you get your license, I'll let you list them. Her first day in the market center, she just mentioned, all right, so I got these 4 properties. And she said it quietly to me, what should I do? I said, I got something for you. Just said it out loud. Next thing you know, I got 3 agents coming down like, oh, you got these 4? And Sean Wilson, true to credit, said, nope, I'm snatching all of them. Don't talk to nobody else. These are mine. Her first day in real estate, having that conversation and being in a brokerage where people create their own, 4 gone just like that. I mean, that's that environment, that's the culture that we have and what we go through. Well, you know, for everybody who's live and you know, we promised we keep it an hour. We ran a little bit over since we started a little late. Want to appreciate y'all for coming out. They left you their IG handles. They left you the phone numbers. They left you Facebook. Reach out, contact. These are people who are willing to give their time. Josh told you to get to your next level, teach somebody else. And they truly believe that by reaching out, by teaching others, it gets them to their next level where they want to be in business. So if you have a question, if you want more, if you want to be in a building that's surrounded by them or be in a network that's with them, reach out. We're here. We want to be connected with all of you. We thank you for your time. Any last words?
All right, man, just go out and take action.
Stay dedicated.
With that, you guys have a good one. We appreciate you.